of opposite rays. Opposite rays are going to be opposite rays, remember, are going to be two rays that have a common endpoint and they create a line. So in this diagram here, there's really only one set of opposite rays. What you want to do is you look for a line that has 3 points on it. And in doing that, you'll notice that you have a line here, x, y. If you notice, that line has the point here at y. Draw this up better. Has a point at y, going yz and yx. Yz and yx would be called opposite rays. Yes, sir?
With those two dots right there, would that be
Just between here and here? Yes, that would be a segment. But since there's arrows, it continues through. Okay. Yeah, yz, yx. All right. Yes, ma'am. It does. In order to do that, you have to write it as yz with the arrow through the z, yx with the arrow through the x. No. You could write it as y, or you could have said xy, but that doesn't make sense like that. Because remember, whenever we wrote those things out, you gotta get to class on time. Whenever we wrote these things out, the first letter is always the endpoint. So it had to be yx. Even though the arrows are pointing in the same direction, it means the same. They're pointing in opposite. Right. Good question. What else out of that pile of stuff? Which one? 4? Okay. Name and number. Give another name for line G. Well, remember when they talk about line G, you can use single letters, cursive usually for that. How else do you label lines? Yeah, 2 points with the arrows over it. So here you could have said line XY, line XZ, line YZ, line ZX. Any one of those would have been just fine. Normally people would just write line XY with a double arrow. All right. What else we got? Yes, ma'am. 13? Sure. This is an endpoint problem where you have to do this distance formula twice. So they're telling you you have specific endpoints of DE and then endpoints of GH. So what we have to do here is, well, first set of X values and Y values, second set, and figure out how far apart they are. So to do the distance of segment DE is change in X, -4 minus -4, quantity squared, plus -13 minus 11, quantity squared. Well, throwing a couple of values in the calculator shows you that -4 minus -4 is 0. And then -13 minus 11, excuse me, winds up being a -24 squared, and you take the square root of that. When you do that, you get 24. Okay. Do the same thing for the next one. For the distance of, what is it, GH. First set of x's, and so on. So we have square root. -9 minus 14. -14, excuse me, squared, plus 5 minus 5. So this one here, you get 5 squared. Take the square root of all that, so you wind up with 5 for that one. Does 24 equal 5? Nope. Are they congruent then? Nope. So that's one of those examples where you have to use the distance formula to figure that out, because I remember we did those in class where we had, are these segments congruent? Yes, ma'am. I can't hear you with your hand. Well, when you put parentheses around -24 and square it, then you take the square root of it, you get 24. The square root of junk squared is always junk. Okay? They're inverse operations of one another. So if you throw it in your parentheses, negative 24 squared, and then take the square root of that. Oops, I hit the wrong button. What else we got on those guys? I know there was a few extra problems thrown in there last night, but it's all reviewed for the test. Yes, ma'am. Yep. Really, the test itself is a good mixture of what we did on the quiz, and then obviously adding in distance and midpoint stuff. Okay. Yes, ma'am. You have a dollar? You said 14? Instructions here tell us that find the length of the segment and then find the midpoint. So you have to do both parts again. Find the distance. We did a couple of these in class. I tend to do that a lot. So number 31, it tells that you have supplementary angles. Supplementary angles add up to equal how much? 180. Very good. So that means we have angles 1 plus angle 2 is 180. Fill in the blanks to what they are then. You get 3x plus 50 plus 4x plus 32. Yes, sir. Very good. Very good. So you combine your like terms here. I hope that you guys all have this out and you're double checking your work here because believe me, you're going to want to make sure you do this right. Now you go to a two-step equation. We understand faucet strip. We don't need a dripping faucet in the classroom right now. Thank you. Subtract the 82 and you get, what is that?
98.
Divided by 7. Very good. Now it didn't just say solve for x, it said solve for the measures of the angles. So we got to put it back in. So we have to do 3 times 14 plus the 50, and then 4 times the 14 plus the 32. So is it 20, 32, 42 and 50 is 92? And then 40. It almost looks like we knew what we were doing. Okay. No, because as long as you, I mean, you have to read it. You know, it depends. You know, if it says just solve for x, because what if it was a multiple choice question, and it gives you the value of x and it gives you angle measures as well? Yeah, then you're screwed. Exactly. That's why it's important that you have to read your questions carefully. Absolutely. Because that's what you should be doing. You shouldn't just be going to a multiple choice test just guessing every one of them. The probability of that happening is next to nothing. You know that, right? Think of it this way. If there are 4 choices, all right, well, hold on. If there's 4 choices, what's the probability you're going to get one right? All right, you have 1 out of 4, and let's say you have that 10 times. No, no, no. The probability of you actually getting to all of those correct is no. That's not even 90%, guys. That's not even that. It's think of it this way. This is 9.536 -7. So you have to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Josh, the idea that you said you got them all right. There's probabilities I can show you that as well. So right now, I think you're just talking. Yeah, right? Yes, sir. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I want you guys to do is that tomorrow we have our first official test. Okay. Now, what we've done all this week is kind of gone over just one last little section. The rest of it goes back to what we looked at on the quiz. So what I want to do is spend a couple minutes talking about some of the common mistakes that I saw throughout the quiz. For example, one of the things that I noticed that people were working through was that usually the first page was bad. It was as you got into the second page. What do angle bisectors do? Exactly. When you have an angle bisector, that means you're going to have angle equals an angle. It's the idea of understanding what the vocabulary means. All right. Supplementary. Supplementary are 2 angles that add up to equal how much? 180. So supplementary, angle plus angle equals 180. And then midpoints on segments. Midpoints on segments get you what? When you have a midpoint of a segment, not just mid. Well, when you have a mid, so you have segment equals segment. And then obviously linear pair. Remember linear pair? We drew that. No, it's not. We talked about that again yesterday. It was usually the back page where most people messed up. Now, I also mentioned that some of you guys wrote down some wrong numbers from the examples, but you mapped them all correctly. You might have saw me write little notations on there saying it was okay, even though you screwed something up. Did you do that? Which one? I mean, guess was it the? It was the third number 7, right? Yeah, and that was very common. On number 7, a lot of people wrote, did you do 5x minus 3? Or did you do 13? Yeah, it was a combination of something like that, where you accidentally wrote down the wrong information on the problem, but you mapped everything correctly. I can't mark you wrong for for mapping incorrectly, because you mapped correctly. It's correct. All right, and go from there. So this is a good resource to go back and look up a few things. Make sure you have your stuff going through on there. Excuse me. But then the other thing I want you guys to do, I posted it on the calendar already. We go back to the calendar somewhere around here. Today, for today, what I have you guys doing is some more of the review problems. Add them to the problems you've already done, and I'll collect both of those assignments tomorrow. These review problems are out of the new textbook, and they're basically mirroring the exact same ones you did yesterday. So what we've basically been able to do over the past couple of days is just a boatload of extra problems that you've all seen, and none of it has changed. So remember, when it says new geometry book, that means the one that you go through Pearson and from there. Okay? Yes, sir. No. When I had in high school, God, I remember. Pearson's been one of the larger conglomerates of textbooks for the past 10 years or so. They're kind of like buying over and over and over more people, kind of like how Google keeps buying stuff. It's kind of the same idea. All right, so you guys have problems to do. Add in what you already have. Both of those will be due tomorrow. When you walk in the door, we'll go from there. All right? Yeah, this, like I said, this is the stuff you get to from the new book. Remember how we get to that from the actual website? Go to the textbook. Here's it. I think you guys said that you should be able to have it just bookmarked now. It won't let me bookmark for some odd reason. I can't get it to stay there, but I have almost 200 kids, so yeah. And then, yes, sir. Schedule. I've got. Who's that? Yes, sir. So that's how we get. Remember, start goes up. You got a couple minutes to get started. Yes, ma'am. All right. It's all right there. That's where I post everything. Remember that? I don't know, talking about 70-ish. In the auditorium, I believe you've got to go into the hallway going just back by the music wing. Back in there, down that hallway. If we're up here, we still got to go downstairs, down by the English office. Yeah, you want to go upstairs before you. You can go downstairs. You never want to be upstairs. You know you're not going to forget. Did you know that a tornado is going about 120 miles an hour? You're not going the winds themselves were 120, 150 miles an hour. The tornado was moving at like 40 miles an hour. I guarantee you're not going to run more than maybe 12 miles an hour for about 20 feet is how fast you're going to go. I guarantee you cannot do 20 miles an hour running. Downhill with the wind at your back, you're still not going to run 20 miles an hour. Yes, I can see you riding a bike on 30, 35. Yes, but you know how hard it is to get to go 35 miles an hour on a bike? Yes, it is. Remember, you have a lot going on there. Okay, there's a lot.
What do you got here? I'm not your father.
40-ish.